Broaden our minds. Lawrence?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another amazing episode of Slav's Free Talk Podcast. That's right. I'm excited to be here. I hope you are too. So, we got a lot of things to talk about. Quite a bit, actually, to talk about. Things like Star Wars, Rachel Zegler, Creature Commandos, a lot of DCU stuff. Some Marvel, and we're going to finish the show with some Zack Snyder news. That's right, we will talk some Zack Snyder at the end of the show. So keep that in mind as well. All right, let's get into this here. I'm trying to figure some stuff out, so bear with me. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? I hope you're all doing well. Oh boy, how's your week been, everyone? Who we got in here? We got Tito. Says plenty of DCU content will be R-rated. Everything is right with the world. That is right. We got a lot of R-rated content, but we'll save a lot of that talk for the Watchtower this week, because there's plenty of other non-DC related stuff that I want to talk about. Don't worry, there is DC related content for this show, but I gotta save stuff for the Watchtower. Don't worry. I see Xander saying he's got a new job. That is awesome. Great to see. Hopefully you enjoy it and you like it. What else do we got here? We got Xander in here. We got Tito. We got Hope for Life saying, yes, R-rated DCU, Authority will be R-rated, and hopefully Swamp Thing. That's a possibility. I don't see why not. I don't see why that wouldn't be. Yeah, that would make the most sense, I think. I just don't know. So I see some of you on here. I was looking through the comments. I do have a membership for my show. Before I get into this, for my YouTube channel, I do have memberships, and I want to put out there, first off, thank you to the members that I do have currently. Just a guy on YouTube, which I do see him in the comments here. Goober3164, Lawrence Fury, and Claudio Vega, Cueto952. Awesome member shout outs. Thank you so much. But I do see people in there that are saying, that they're not members. They wish they could be members in that thing. I'm trying to figure out, I wouldn't mind trying to get you guys as members. I know, just I thought there was a way to gift memberships. I'm trying to find a way to do that. So if you guys know how, I wouldn't mind gifting a few memberships if possible, just to see, you guys could check out what my member content is, and then maybe after that point in time, you could give it a shot. I don't know how to do it. I've never done it before, and I was just trying to see if there was a way to do that. So let me know if there's a way to do it, because I don't know how. I'm trying to figure it out, and that whole thing, and I'd like to do that, for my viewers to kind of help, one, it would, I guess it would help my content grow, wouldn't it? Would it not? Engage with the audience, support membership gifting. Wait, here we go. Here, we'll do this. So I will gift 10 memberships. How about that? I know it's my own. It's kind of giving away my own money, I guess, but I want you guys to become members. So why not? Let's see if it works. There we go. So I gifted 10 memberships to you guys. So hopefully some of you guys get memberships that deserve it. Hopefully. I guess I don't get to pick. It just kind of goes out there. I've never done it before, so I don't know who gets it. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. There we go. Yeah, That's, I guess, how that works. All right. So let's get into it then, because I really want to get into this first topic here, and I want to talk about Star Wars. Star Wars. That's right. Discussing film, as posted on X the other day, that Disney has removed the date of December 2026 from their um release schedule. Like, wasn't that the Ray movie? Like, come on. That was the day that they were supposed to release the Ray movie. That's when it was supposed to be all big and brand new. Like, it was supposed to be amazing and all this stuff. It was supposed to be huge. Like, all these people were supposed to be excited because Ray, it was going to be Ray again. Yay, Ray movie. Woohoo. Yahoo, Ray movie. And here we sit. No Ray movie. And it's kind of like, what's the deal? Like, what the heck? Like, can we just can we not? Like, come on. Like, this is ridiculous. So it's about time that Lucasfilm do something right. And you would think that at some point, they would do something right. They're just not doing anything right at all. And it's absurd. It's crazy to me that it's gotten to this point that Lucasfilm has dropped the ball this bad. I mean, it's I don't know. I just is Grogu Mandalorian coming out in 2025? Like, you would think it has to. And if that comes out in 2025, then 2027, is it going to be one of the 36 Ray movies that they've talked about and announced at this point? Like, it's crazy at the, that we're at this level. It's crazy. Like, I just don't understand. So, what do we got here? Oh man, Just a Guy on YouTube gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Just a Guy on YouTube. Thank you. That was very kind of you. So we got some more memberships out there. Otito got a membership. That's awesome. All the memberships that I got out there. Mr. Nurk got a membership. Ecstatics. So do they go to the people who's watching, or do they go to just random people? Like, I don't understand how these gifted memberships work. Like, that's just crazy to me. Like, I wish I could choose who gets them too, because there's only 14 people watching, and I did my 10, and then there was another 5. Whatever. Louis Lanos. Hey, I got a membership. Thank you. That's awesome. Anyways, Triton asks, wait, is the Ray movie canned? Is Disney Lucasfilm actually listening? Well, that's the thing. I don't think it's canned, because it's saying that the movie no longer release in December 2026. They've removed it from their schedule. First off, I believe it's canned. I believe the Sharmita Bay Chinoy movie is canned. I do believe that. And it's removed from there. But we know that they've not announced, but there's rumored that there's going to be like umpteen other Ray films. So I think that's all they're doing. I think they're removing that Ray movie from December 2026 and kind of just shifting into all these other Ray-centric films. And the first one will probably come out in December of 2027, or maybe May of 2027. Who knows at this point in time? Nobody really knows what the hell. Lucasfilm doesn't even know what Lucasfilm is doing at this point in time. It's kind of absurd and ridiculous, if you ask me. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. Lucasfilm, Otito says Lucasfilm probably should have rejected the Disney offer. Well, that's George Lucas. He kind of wanted out. He wanted out. And Joe James, how's it going? RIP Star Wars. I agree. I think it's time to just RIP. Xander Wild, I realized I didn't get my gift. I don't, did you get a gift? Like, I don't understand these gifting memberships, man. I don't understand how these work. I don't understand. Like, I have up here, Jay Kelly got one, Manor Silver. I don't know. Like, is there a way to pick who gets them? Let me take a look here. Let me see. I'm sorry, guys. This is not very entertaining. I know. I just want to make sure that, people that are deserving, that have been here a while, get a chance to be a member. That's all. Anyways, yeah, but I don't know, man. Let me know. I want to know what you guys think, though. And Sanders says I'm confuzzled. That's a fun way to say confused. Joe James says we got Dune now. Yeah, Dune episode 1, Dune Prophecy came out. Look, I'm not a big Dune fan. I was not a very big fan of the films. It just wasn't for me. And yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't very very fond of that. Um Let's see. How to gift memberships to this channel? Your gift will be publicly announced. Lucky recipients selected by YouTube get 1 month of access. So it's just selected by YouTube. So like I don't get to select it at all. That's unfortunate. That's really dumb. That's weird. Xander Wild. Sorry, Xander. I don't know how. Like I said, I didn't know how the gift memberships work. Sorry about that. Let's see. Hope for Life. I feel Star Wars should have stopped after Return of the Jedi because I feel like it's kind of not worth watching Star Wars without Darth Vader, my favorite villain. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not worth watching without Vader. Don't get me wrong. Vader is one of the greatest villains of all time. But Disney Star Wars has not done well. They just don't really understand how to Star Wars. And it's just not been great. Don't get me wrong, there's been some good things here and there, but it's just not been good overall. And that's kind of the problem. Triton says, hilarious that Disney, the studio that a few decades ago churned out a dozen crappy straight-to-DVD sequels for all of their animated classics, can't seem to get any Star Wars films into production. Very true. It's it's just crazy. Yeah, like they're crap. I remember their crap. Man, I remember what was it, the 90s into the early 2000s as crappy like direct to DVD sequels. Man, those were so bad. They were so bad. That was a bad time for them. They just thought that they could do no wrong. That's what they thought. But they did turn it around a bit. They did. And here we sit. Not so much anymore. Otito says, George Lucas already said that his story ended with the OG trilogy, so that's confirmation. The sequel trilogy is non-canon. Hey, that's all you need. All you need is the confirmation from GL himself, and we just go with that. That's where we go. All right. Silly user, good afternoon, Slav. Good afternoon, silly user. I'm not sure if you were here for our Star Wars talk, but I'm moving on. This is a little more controversial of a topic, but I am going to talk about the Rachel Zegler stuff. So I do apologize if you don't like the controversial topics, but I am going to talk about it here. Rachel Zegler issues an apology after unhinged election meltdown. But did she write it? Come on. First off, if you don't know, Rachel Zegler has been in a bit of controversy quite a bit over the last year or so. And it really all started with Snow White, where she went on this tirade and rant about how Snow White the movie Snow White that she's going to be in is going to change the patriarchy, change how things are. She don't need no man to save her. She's a strong woman who don't need no man and all this stuff. And Snow White was kind of weird, how she liked to say it. And I mean, it was just a mess. And then on top of it, she, got herself involved with everything that's going on with Israel and Palestine and Gaza and all of that stuff. Meanwhile, her co-star of Snow White is Gal Gadot, who is Israeli. It was a big old mess of Rachel Zegler. And it got to a point where it was like, Disney, you got to shut her up. I mean, Snow White is the first big, massive hit for Disney. It is the first animated film that won awards. I mean, this movie is going to be huge. As if you play your cards right, Disney, shut Rachel Zegler up. But not only that, but there was also controversy because, first off, Snow White is known to be a woman that is very white, and Rachel Zegler is not very white. So that was another controversy surrounding it. So there's so much controversy surrounding this film to begin with. Then the election came up. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's more controversy besides that, but then the election happened a couple weeks ago in the United States. And much like a lot of other Hollywood people, especially in her age group, she got very upset about it. And she went on a tirade putting posts on Instagram. It was like 3 posts where she basically said, F off Donald Trump and anybody who voted for Donald Trump. And again, we talked about this last week. When you're somebody who's connected to Disney and you do something like that, that's not a good look for Disney. It's definitely not a good look for her either. But Disney is in the middle of going through a lawsuit with Gina Carano for basically standing up and saying, hey, people out there who are criticizing and telling people like, hey, if you are a Trump supporter, we're going to report you to the police. That's like Nazism. That's what basically Gina Carano said. And she got fired for that. People are now sitting here on social media, sitting here saying, F Donald Trump, F his supporters, you all effing suck, and that kind of stuff. And here we sit, and she just gets a slap on the wrist, basically, because she comes out and apologizes about this whole thing, because Disney probably said, hey, not cool, you got to go apologize. I'm sorry, this stuff has to end. These people that are doing this stuff, they need to be held responsible. They need to realize they need to stay out of politics, first of all. That is my whole thing, is when you're on this stage in Hollywood, your focus should be on making movies. If you want to get into political field, step away from movies for a little bit. Go get on your soapbox and talk politics all you want, but do that when you're not making movies. And then if you want to go make movies, then you shut up about politics and go make movies. That's simple. I just don't see why these actors and actresses think that they have this right to be like, well, I'm making movies, so I have a right to stand up and talk about what I believe in. And it's not even that they have a right, but it's that why their opinion even matters. Specifically, even Rachel Zegler, who really is a nobody still at this point. Sure, she has a good voice and she made a couple decent movies, but she's been surrounded by controversy for the last 3 or 4 years. And then she goes and does this to surround herself in even more controversy. She's not going to make it in Hollywood if she keeps doing this, and she just keeps adding more and more on herself to make it look worse and worse. And she's going to learn quickly that she's made some pretty bad decisions because of social media. And I mean, it sucks, but yeah, I mean, that's the way it happens. And shame on Disney for just letting her be here. Shame on Disney for that. So yeah, that's my talk, or my talk on that. I wanted to get that out there. I think it's crazy, but let me know your thoughts on the situation down below. Let's see. Trayvon joined. Hey, not all those direct-to-DVD sequels were bad. Lion King 1.5 was goated. Come on, get out of here. Lion King 1.5 was terrible. The Lion King stuff. The only good Lion King was the first one. There was not another good Lion King. Not the live action, not any of the other things were good. I don't care what anybody says. Come at me. Xander Wild, can we talk about DC now? Just kidding. Take your time. Triton, I wonder how all these shenanigans surrounding the live action Snow White film would have happened if the film had a different lead. Well, again, you're not wrong, but there wouldn't have been all these shenanigans because a different lead probably wouldn't have said half the crap that she has said. And that's kind of the thing. It's kind of like a different lead wouldn't say these things. And if there was a different lead, let's say a different lead would have been a Anya Taylor-Joy, let's say, and Anya Taylor-Joy said these same things. People would have been still up in arms about it. If Anya Taylor-Joy said everything that Rachel Zegler said, people still would have been up in arms about it. The only controversy that would not have been there would have been the color of her skin. And that is an issue when you're looking at the character of Snow White. Again, we look at this kind of stuff, and I'm a believer that I don't care what race you are, I don't care what color you are when you're cast as a character, as long as it doesn't matter to the character's origin or who the character is. But in Snow White's case, the character's name, Snow White, it matters. So, like, in that case, I understand where people are coming from when they're like, why is a Sandy Brown girl cast as Snow White, who's supposed to have skin as pale as snow. Like it's confusing. It's a little confusing. So I get the controversy surrounding it. The people going to the extreme, no, I don't think it's right, but I do get the controversy around it. But again, that would have been left out. But if someone like Anya Taylor-Joy would have made the same comments that she's making, absolutely there would have still been an outcry and people saying, why is she making these comments? Xander says, controversies everywhere, can't have nice things anymore. Hope for life. I feel celebrities like Zegler believe that because they are famous, that they are more important than others. Only their opinions matter. Triton, nah, my wife Anya is smarter than Zegler. Well, if your wife is Anya Taylor-Joy, you are one lucky man. Let me tell you. All right, moving on. Next topic. Oh, look, we got some DC stuff we're going to talk about. And after DC, we move into Marvel, and then we talk Zack Snyder, just so you know the way things are moving. All right, so this is an interesting little topic here because Creature Commandos Screeners have actually gone out. And I did do a little video about this yesterday on my members only exclusive. So if you're a member, that you are one of the lucky ones who got one of the member gifted memberships. Again, I'm sorry, I don't know how they work. I wish I could have given them to all of you and picked out those of you who could have gotten them. But if you do have a membership, member exclusive, I am doing a little series called Exposing the Snyder Cult is what it's called. And I did a video where I talked about some things here. And it's kind of funny because there were some people who are a little bit upset that they did not get a screener for Creature Commandos. Well, the embargo actually lifts on December 3rd, and that's kind of exciting, and I'm excited for it. I mean, why not? But that just shows we're getting closer. We're getting closer to Creature. We're getting closer to the DCU. I cannot wait for this. And the more we start hearing about this, the more that we're finding out about how the story is going to go, the more excited I'm getting about what James Gunn is cooking and what he's creating for the DCU. Yes, there's rumors about some things. People have let slip some spoilers. Even James Gunn has let some things slip, or maybe not slip, but he's revealed some things. It's exciting. Things are happening. I'm excited. You should all be excited. And come on, guys. It's here. It's almost here. The DCU is almost here. It's exciting. Let's see. Otito says is going to be / Free Talk is going to be peak animation Creature Commandos. Yes. Triton says, speaking of dumb controversies, you see the star of Wicked film hating on a fan who did it. Yes, I thought that was the most ridiculous. Like, I honestly, there's a part of me that hopes that film fails just because of the way she reacted. Again, I don't want a film to fail, but there's a part of me that wishes that film failed just because of the way she overreacted, because that was ridiculous. Xander, wow, Creature Commandos is going to be great. I agree. I think, again, what I've heard, what I've seen, I think it's going to be really awesome. Otito says, heard crazy good things about it. Says stuff will tie to Superman along with fun cameos. Exactly. We're hearing there's going to be fun cameos. We heard that it's going to tie into Superman. Oh, man, it's here, guys. It's here. The DCU. We've waited, and we've been patient. We've been patient, and here it is. Here it is. It's finally here. But moving on, James Gunn has stated that basically all of Peacemaker Season 1 is canon, except for this scene, the Justice League scene. He says everything except for the Justice League scene is canon, and Season 2 will explain why and how. So what do you think about that? I actually want to get your guys' thoughts on this because I think it's really interesting. I think it's really, really interesting. The reason why I say that is because, well, we heard the outcries. Well, James Gunn is lying. He said that season 1 not gonna be canon. Sorry, I change my impressions of the Snyder Cult every once in a while. That was my new one. Hope you like it. But I honestly, we knew that Peacemaker season 1 was going to have some elements that were going to be carried into the DCU. So now people are upset because that's happening, despite us knowing that, yes, they were going to have elements carried into season 2 into the DCU that were going, like, it is what it is. The big question was the Justice League. How was the Justice League going to be taken out of it? He said, well, a year ago, if not more, I have a way in. So I've always said, let's sit back, let's relax. Let's see how it plays out. He says he has a way in. Let's see what that way is. So, what is that way in? What do you think that way in is? Like, I have a feeling like, I think one of two things are going to happen. I think it's going to be a cop out where it's going to be something like, before this scene right here, something like he was knocked out, or they're going to like recreate the ending scene, and he's going to be knocked out and he's going to wake up and this whole scene didn't happen, or it was a dream or something like that. I don't know. I think something weird like that's going to happen. It's right up James Gunn's alley. I don't know though. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm excited to see what it is, but we're not going to really find out for a while, because I mean, August of next year is when we're going to have to wait. And that's like a year away. It's going to be so long, guys, so long. It's so long to find out. Oh man. Senware 92. Did you watch The Penguin? I have not watched it yet. I know I need to get on it. One of my buddies on Facebook was like, it is like the best show on television. No, nothing beats it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Hope for Life. This is exciting time for DC fans. It surely is. Xander, wow, did you hear that Superman got a test screening for lucky audiences? Well, it wasn't really lucky audiences. I believe it was for some executives and probably like a friend or two of James Gunn. It wasn't like audiences. Triton Gunn, you're not helping confusion, dude. Either have the entire season be canon or just don't have a canon at all. All right, Triton, here's the thing. You can easily like skip that. There's a way. He says he has a way in. Let's see how it works. Many people have stated they should have just scratched everything. That we all know that he should have just started from scratch. But let's see what his way in is. Let's just see. Let's wait and see. Before we go all balls to the walls, crying and whining, let's see what it is. Hope for Life. Xander, I'm so jealous of those who were lucky enough to see test screenings. I'm more on, like, it's probably not completely finished. Not all the CGI is done. The special effects aren't all done. The music's probably not all in there. I'd rather just wait and see the completed film. Xander says, nice Snyderverse cult and Aaron Fisher. Trayvon, it makes too much sense. Outside of the Justice League cameo, there was nothing in Peacemaker season 1 that ties it up to the DCEU. You're right, it really doesn't. The only thing that is confusing to me, because I know that we saw some behind the scenes stuff and some casting, that Robert Patrick's in season 2. So we know, spoilers, season 1, he dies. And then there were rumors that there was somebody cast to play Peacemaker's brother, which, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while since I watched it. Wasn't it talked about that Peacemaker's brother was dead in like season 1? Wasn't he already dead? So I don't know how that's going to all work. There's going to be some. Again, James Gunn says he has a way in, so let's see how it goes. Let's see. Tito, I'm just curious how the Commandos will survive Cersei, who tank blows from Wonder Woman, who can make Superman bleed, who in turn can blow up planets by himself. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. I mean, that's the exciting part about Creature Commandos is you have a powerful villain going up against these creatures. How do they come out on top? That's the exciting part about it. Triton says, that's your Snyder fan impression? Let's see your impression of the fanatical gun fans who joke about what happened to Snyder's daughter and threaten her. Dude. All right. Oh, Tito. No, this is a DC universe coming. Thank goodness Snyder would have destroyed it, dodged a crazy bullet. Triton says, Snyder didn't destroy anything. You and a bunch of other people just hated it for dumb reasons. Oh, man. All right, here we go. All right, come on, guys. Chill. We're not fighting here. I don't want to see any fighting. But again, my Snyder cult impression is just to be funny. I'm being funny when I do it. I'm not being malicious. I'm being funny because, again, that's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to be malicious here. All right. And Triton, I know that there are bad people on both sides. On both sides, you have bad people and evil people on the gun side, on the DC side. You have bad people, mean people on the Snyder side. I get it. There's people that are bad and stupid and ridiculous on both sides. But you just got to move on with it, man. I don't know what else to say. You just gotta calm down with that. All right. So, anyways, Peacemakers should be fun. James Gunn also confirmed that Batman projects are moving forward. He said, right now we're moving forward with Brave and the Bold. That's happening right now. And Matt Reeves is writing the Batman 2. That's happening right now. Now, this was over at the Omelet, which is like a Hispanic, I guess, nerd site of some sort. And, taking a look at this here, people are like freaking out. It's like, well, he didn't confirm that Muschietti is working on Brave and the Bold. Well, he didn't really confirm anything except for Matt is writing the Batman 2. He didn't, because I think I saw somebody say he didn't confirm that Muschietti is directing Brave and the Bold. Well, he didn't confirm Matt is directing Batman 2, just that he's writing it. Regardless, it's just exciting to see. I think this is going to comfort people in realizing these are two separate projects. They're two separate universes. Let's move past this whole Robert Pattinson, Batman, and the DCU. I think this is pretty much it, guys. We can move forward now knowing we got two separate Batmen going on right now. For how long? Hopefully not too long, because I don't want there to be confusion. I don't want people to think that but regardless, we got this moving on. But he says right now we're moving forward with Brave and the Bold. Moving forward with Brave and the Bold. That's exciting to me. I like seeing that. I like hearing that. I'm excited about that. Let's see. Hope for Life. I love when you're funny, Slav. Makes me feel good to laugh when I have a bad day. Well, that's good, Hope for Life. I'm glad for that. And Triton, just nobody's going to be banned, Triton. Nobody needs to be banned. All right. Just nobody get banned. I don't want anybody to be banned. Just let's be cool. We're all good right now. All right. Right now, we're cool. Everything DCU. James Gunn says, from Everything DCU on X says, James Gunn says an unannounced project will release after Lanterns and Supergirl. I wanted to post this one or bring this one up because I just thought this was funny. Because I just wanted to go, well, no shit, James Gunn. No shit. Because all we know right now is what's been announced. And everything that we know has been announced is up to Lanterns and Supergirl. After that, we don't know what's announced to be coming out. So no shit, James Gunn. I just think it was funny that he says an unannounced project will release after Lanterns and Supergirl. To me, I just thought it was really funny that he actually said that. Like it's some big news. And I don't know. I just think it's one of those things. It's kind of like, okay, what could it be? A lot of people are saying, oh, maybe it's Titans. It could be. It could be Titans because technically Titans is not announced. There was an announcement that Anna Naguaria is writing Titans, but technically that wasn't an announcement. That was just revealed by, I believe it was the Hollywood Reporter, a Deadline, that wasn't even announced. It was just Hollywood Reporter Deadline saying, hey, guess what? This is happening. So that wasn't announced. Now, the other types of films that were announced in that first press release, that first announcement, none of those would be part of this then, because that's like The Authority, Swamp Thing, Brave and the Bold, Waller, all that stuff, Booster Gold, that stuff, that's announced. So that's probably not going to be part of this. I just still think it's funny, though. I just thought it was a funny way to say this on James Gunn's side. An unannounced project. Well, I mean, no shit. I just thought it was funny. Let's see. Otito says, honestly, as long as you embody the character to the T, I don't think it matters. Race, a different story if the race is crucial, especially to the character. What do you think? As long as you embody the character to the T, I don't think it matters. The race, a different story if the race is crucial, especially to the character. Yeah, we're getting back to the race thing. Yeah, I mean, again, I always go back, like the one I always go back to when I talk about race and like the color and stuff like that is always Bruce Wayne. And granted, that could change over the next 5, 10, 15 years. But as we sit in 2024, it's still not very easily to be believed just because of the way the culture has been over the last 100+ years of a black kid being raised in money like Bruce Wayne was. Again, that's not being racist or anything. That's just being how the world has been for X number of years in America. Now, again, it is all fiction, so you can make it whatever you want. But usually to make fiction more believable, you kind of root some things in to nonfiction. And that was why the aspect of Bruce Wayne being a white boy with, being raised in a rich family, rich money, that whole thing. So that's why I always go to the Bruce Wayne aspect of it, because I think that's one that is very tough. That would be hard to switch to making Bruce Wayne black or Hispanic or, something in that regard, because you don't see that in America where those other races have that old world money where they're raised up in, like Bruce Wayne does in the comics or what have you. But that's one example. I mean, again, I'm not saying that they're all like that. I'm not saying that no characters like, I've always said that a character like hell, like, Aquaman, that was perfectly fine. There was no reason why they couldn't have made Jason Momoa Aquaman. I thought it was perfectly fine. People sit there and talk about how they, switch, what was it in Disney, Little Mermaid. It was like, well, they switched Little Mermaid to a little black girl. Like it's a fictional character. It's not even, mermaids aren't real. Like, what does it matter? It doesn't matter that much. So again, there's absolutely aspects in some areas, as long as you get the character right, absolutely, I don't care. But I think to a certain point, you have to have that believability to a certain point. And like I said, that's why I go to the Bruce Wayne aspect. Trayvon says, your theory about James Gunn having already casted Batman in the DCU may have merit. And you might be right. I know that there's some, I don't want to spoil anything, but yes, you might be right. I don't want to be the one, if you saw stuff on X or on social media, then you saw it. I don't want to be the one to spoil it here today. Hope for Life. Yes, this is good news about Batman, but I still think Brave and the Bold comes after Dynamic Duo, which comes out in 2030. That's so late. If Brave and the Bold doesn't come out until almost 2030, that's ridiculous. Hungry Almighty. You're talking to Hope for Life. There you go. Xander Wild. To be on the positive side now, I do honestly believe that David Cornsweet will blow people away. Absolutely. Hope for Life. That's what was announced. I saw a report on IGN. Johnny Dome Studios. James Gunn said he watched his first cut of his Superman, maybe with no effects and stuff. Yeah, that's. I don't think it's. I mean, I'm sure there's some effects in there, and I'm sure there's some temp tracks for music and such, but I wouldn't expect them to be fully done yet with it. I'm sure they're still a few months away. couple, at least 2 to 3 months away. I would be sure for them to be fully done with it. Then again, who knows? I mean, James Gunn, he's on it, so he could be done by like the end of December. Who knows? Let's see. Where did I go? Xander Wild says, along with Christopher Reeve, when and if David Cornswet blows people away, he will be along with Christopher Reeve for me. Triton says, if, and Cavill is the GOAT. Hey, Cavill is amazing. Cavill's up there for me. I love Cavill as Superman. He was amazing. All right, so you guys are talking about who's the best Superman, but I am going to move to Marvel right now. Marvel officially announces Julia Garner as, oh man, this is interesting. Julia Garner as female Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four First Steps. This coming from That Park Place after rumors in April that Disney would cast Julia Garner as Shalabal, a female version of the Silver Surfer in the upcoming Fantastic Four. Marvel made it official yesterday with an official synopsis for the movie. The official synopsis reads, set against the vibrant backdrop of a 1960s-inspired retro-futuristic world, Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four First Steps introduces Marvel's first family, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, played by Pedro Pascal, Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, played by Vanessa Kirby, Johnny Storm, Human Torch, played by Joseph Quinn, and Ben Grimm, the Thing, played by Eben Moss Backrack, as they face their most daunting challenge yet. Forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, they must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus, played by Ralph Ineson, and his enigmatic herald, Silver Surfer, played by Julia Garner. And if Galactus planned to devour the entire planet and everyone on it weren't bad enough, it suddenly gets very personal. The action-adventure also stars Paul Walter Hauser, John Malkovich, Natasha Lyonne, and Sarah Niles. Directed by Matt Shackman, produced by Kevin Feige, and blah, blah, blah. Comes out, or opens in theaters July 25th, 2025. So, according to That Park Place, it seems as though the more things change, the more they stay the same at Marvel, despite rumors out of film threat that Marvel head Kevin Feige fired activist producers and writers earlier this year. Disney Marvel seems unwilling to pivot on gender-swapped heroes and a more female-focused universe. Back in April, Disney CEO was asked if it was possible for the company to stay out of politics and social agenda. He said, our job is to entertain first and foremost. In telling great stories, we continue to have a positive impact on the world and inspire future generations, just as we've done for over 100 years. Disney has always been and will continue to be a source of hope, joy, and optimism for people of all ages. That's my Bob Iger impression. We are committed to telling stories that reflect the world around us, and those stories to entertain stories from all walks of life. I believe we have a responsibility to do good in the world. But we know our job is not to advance any kind of agenda. So as long as I'm in the job, I'm going to continue to be guided by a sense of decency and respect, and we will always trust our instincts. So soon after he made that statement, Deadline reported that Marvel would move ahead with Shalabal, female version of the Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four movie, instead of the classic male version of Norrin Rad. So, yeah. That's what's happening. It's kind of outrageous. Like, I don't understand what the point is. Like, why not just use Shalabal, however you say the name? Maybe it still is. That Park Place might just be jumping to conclusions. I don't know anymore. Like, when it comes to Marvel, you would think at this point in time, after all this, vitriol and all this hatred and all this backlash, whatever you want to call it, that Marvel and Disney has been getting for the last 5 years, that they would step back and say, this is not a good idea. This just is not a good idea. Yet here we sit, and they made the decision to go with a female Silver Surfer, and possibly not the traditional female Silver Surfer, but the traditional male Silver Surfer as a female. And that's just baffling to me. I just don't understand their thought process behind this. Again, I will say this up front right here. This still isn't confirmation. I know that Park Place, I think the way that they're writing this is they're trying to maybe spark a little controversy, trying to spark the fanboys to come out and say, "Oh, look, we said it, blah, blah, we knew this was going to happen." But even that synopsis doesn't really say too much about it, because all it says, let me get back up to it here. They say his enigmatic herald Silver Surfer. It doesn't say anything else about anything. It's just Silver Surfer. Doesn't mean it's the male version, doesn't mean it's the female version. That's all it says. All I say is, let's just see how it plays. Let's just see how it plays. That's all I can say. What do you guys think in the comments? Let me know in the comments. All right. Triton says, I hope to God they don't get rid of Galactus in this film. He should be the next MCU big bad after Doom. Well, that's probably not going to happen, Triton. From what I understand, this Galactus, I mean, he may show up later down the line, but not anytime soon. From what I've gathered, it seems like they're going to do the whole Doom thing within the span of like 2 movies, and then they're moving into the mutant saga, and they're shooting for Apocalypse to be the next big bad there. So who knows how that goes. Johnny Dome Studios, Fantastic Four being a 60s retro futuristic. Sounds familiar, like James Gunn's Superman. James Gunn is the blueprint. Beautiful. Can we start doing it? Like, maybe make our own hashtag James Gunn is the blueprint. Maybe make t-shirts James Gunn is the blueprint. I'd love it. We should do it. Let's do it. Make hats. Hope for Life. Brave New World sets up Marvel's next phase. If it's woke, I'm saying the rest Marvel probably won't be good. Brave New World is going to be I don't even want to talk about it. Not even if it's woke or whatever you want to call it. I won't even say that. I just think it's gone through like 47 reshoots. That movie doesn't have an identity. It has no identity. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't know what it's trying to be. It has no identity. And that's that. I mean, that's where it is. And I like Trayvon. Trayvon pronounces, I miss Fox. Do, do, do. Xander Wild asked me, what is your favorite Batman and Superman? Are you asking who are my favorite Batman and Superman actors? You're asking who my favorite actors are? You probably won't like my answer. Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. I mean, they were my favorite actors in those roles. Now, if you want to ask me what my favorite movies are when it comes to those characters, my favorite Batman movie is Batman Begins, and my favorite Superman movie is Man of Steel. Otito, woke mob. Come on, Slav. This isn't the 60s anymore. Sometimes a role requires a woman's touch. Why should only men act a certain character? Again, I'm not saying, first off, I'm not saying that this is a problem. I want to see the movie first, but why not? Like, if there's already an established Silver Surfer character that is a woman, just use that character. So that's what I'm hoping they do. I'm just pointing out that Park Place is kind of jumping to conclusions here that it's not that character. I'm hoping it's that character. I'm hoping it's Shalabal or however you say her name, and that it's not Norrin Rad. Like, if they create, if they really made Julia Garner Norrin Rad, that's just stupid. That there is dumb when you have a character over here already established in lore, and then you just go and make her Norrin Rad. That's what's dumb. That's when you know that there is an agenda that they're trying to push for no reason. That's all I'm saying. Triton says, from what I gather, Brave New World is either going to be a surprise masterpiece or a Rise Skywalker-sized disaster. I feel like there's no middle ground. It'll either be one or the other. And I'm going for the latter there, Triton. Trayvon, hashtag James Gunn is the blueprint, has been a thing ever since the end of phase 2 of the MCU. Thor Ragnarok was clearly a Guardians of the Galaxy wannabe. Ragnarok was terrible, though. Triton says, Trayvon, don't you dare compare Guardians of the Volume 1 to Ragnarok. Well, Triton, I just want to say Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 was way better than Ragnarok, because Ragnarok was terrible. Xander, actors or any but my favorite Superman are Reeve, Brandon Routh, Cavill, Welling. My Batman are Ben, Pattinson, Keaton. There you go. All right. Moving along to the final topic of the night. Hollywood Reporter, Zack Snyder, to direct and co-write LAPD action thriller for Netflix. That's right, folks. Zack Snyder, shockingly, is still at Netflix. And that's right. I am shocked at this. This is what I said on X the other day. I am shocked at this. Then again, Netflix doesn't make sound logical decisions all the time. Zack dropped the ball big time with Rebel Moon. The fact they are letting him near the writer's room for this is a red flag. I am shocked about this. So I wanted to pull this up. So it says Zack Snyder to direct, co-write LAPD action thriller for Netflix. This is an exclusive for the Hollywood Reporter. It says Zack is calling the cops with 2-part epic sci-fi saga, Rebel Moon behind him. The filmmakers reteaming with Netflix for a new feature project. This one, an untitled action movie centered on the LAPD. Snyder will direct the feature and is co-writing it with Kurt Johnstad, his freaking collaborator with whom he's worked on 300, the adaptation of Frank Miller comic, and the Rebel Moon movies, among others. Snyder is producing along wife and partner Deborah Snyder and Wesley Collar via the Trio Stone Quarry banner. The project promises to be Snyder's first truly grounded feature, as it won't be populated by laser-shooting rebels, brain-eating zombies, bone-breaking Cape Crusaders, or limb-severing Spartans that have made up the oeuvre of the popular filmmaker words. But it promises to be just a dramatic, thematically weighty and action-packed. Specific details are being kept in lockup, but the action thriller is being described as being set in the high-stakes world of life and death, centered on an elite LAPD unit that is relentlessly confronted with the unforgiving collision of law and morality. The project will mark a full-circle moment for Snyder. More than 20 years ago, he was seeking to transition from music videos to commercials. He landed his first feature with SWAT, an action movie set up by Sony. He wanted to make big surprise an R-rated movie. The studio wanted PG-13. He quit the project. That movie did not do very well. That was not very good. It had Colin Farrell? Was it Colin Farrell and Samuel L. Jackson in that? Was it Samuel L. Jackson? I don't remember. It wasn't very good, though, from what I remember. Years ago, Dan Lin, Netflix's head of film, and I had a conversation about our shared interest in telling a compelling and visual character-driven story set within the intense, complex, captivating landscape of the LAPD. It's a conversation that stuck with me, said Snyder in a statement to the Hollywood Reporter. So as you would expect, I'm very excited to now have the opportunity to partner with Dan along with the rest of my amazing partners at Netflix in developing this story. The new project will be the 4th feature Snyder will have directed for Netflix after the Rebel Moon failures and Army of Dead. It will also be the 6th project Stone Quarry will have made for Netflix, as the banner produced the Army of Dead prequel, Army of Thieves, and the animated series, which was Disgusting and Gross, Twilight of the Gods, which released in September. So, yeah, Snyder is doing a thing. He's doing a thing. What's up, Prime? Shoot you a link. I got about 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes left, man, in my show. So I don't know. I don't know if you'd be able to be on here too long anyways, Prime. Yeah, so he's got a show. A movie at Netflix. I honestly don't believe this is gonna look. I want him to do well. The problem I see with this is that he's in the writer's room and this is an original story. And that is the problem with Zack Snyder, is he you give him a story to adapt, you give him 300, you give him Batman versus Superman, you give him Watchmen, you give him something to adapt. And you're going to have a really cool story, really interesting story, and great visuals, good directing. That's what you get with Zack Snyder. But you give him an original film Sucker Punch, not great. You give him an original film. Army of the Dead was good. It was decent. That's probably his best original film that he made. The 2 Rebel Moon movies were atrocious. And I know people want to sit there and say, no, you're wrong. They were big hits for Netflix. Look, I went through the numbers. I went on Netflix's own website. They are not great. They are not great. Didn't crack the top 10 all time for Netflix, first of all. You then have somebody, all of you guys who watch my channel, you guys missed it. This past weekend was absolutely crazy, specifically Friday when this news came out. I posted something on, I was talking about it on X, and I had the cult attacking me. They attacked me because of me talking about this here. And they legitimately attacked me. And I don't know if it was on this specific post here, but I started to point out how it was not. It didn't crack the Netflix most popular films. Rebel Moon Part 1 and Part 2 were only in the top 10 for 2 weeks respectively, per the Netflix website. Sure, in other countries that have a lot smaller fan base, a lot smaller viewership, they were in the top 10 for a couple more weeks, but that's not huge. Those aren't huge numbers. But then you take a look at Rotten Tomatoes scores, you take a look at Metacritic scores, you start to take a look at all the scores and how it was received. They were received poorly. But I started having these people attack me. They were attacking me because I was pointing out all of this stuff. And they're saying that, oh, you're getting clowned on, you're getting cooked on, and all this. I'm like, nobody has explained to me how I am wrong. But then they sit there and say, well, you don't know how to read the statistics. You have to combine the numbers. I was like, what do you mean combine the numbers? If you have a shitty movie here, you have a movie that people don't like here, and you have a movie that people don't like here, and you put the 2 movies that people don't like together, then it's just 2 movies that people don't like together. You have a movie here that doesn't do well. You have a movie here that doesn't do well. Then you have 2 movies together that just didn't do well together. Like, that's what people don't understand. They try to make up these rules and numbers, and it's just maddening. Zack Snyder is not great at original content. Do I want him to succeed? Yes, I want to see him make great content because I've seen him make great content before. But he failed miserably at Rebel Moon. And yes, it is all subjective. I get it. Rebel Moon is absolutely subjective. I understand that. So there are going to be people who like Rebel Moon. That's fine. You can like Rebel Moon. But when you take a look at the grand scheme of things, more people did not like it than actually liked it. That's fact. So yes, I am a little shocked that Netflix was like, okay, you made essentially 2 shitty movies for us. People didn't like them. They didn't stay in the charts very much. People stopped talking about them within like 5 days that they came out. And trust me, I was keeping track of that. I was watching X and seeing how long people were talking about Part 1, Part 2, and then the director's cuts. How long were people talking about them on X? How big were these movies? They weren't big. And it was just a small section of fans that were talking about these films. That's the kind of stuff that Netflix looks at. That's the kind of things that studios look at, is how big of an impact these movies are making. Absolutely, they look at the numbers of people watching on their streaming services. Absolutely. But they want the longevity. They want, are these pulling people in more and more? Is there going to be longevity for this quote unquote franchise? You have to look at it as a franchise, these cultists say. Okay, well, one movie is a franchise. Like, you can make a franchise out of anything. The first Rebel Moon came out, people shit on it because it wasn't good. The second Rebel Moon came out and it was even shittier. Like, it just wasn't good. I'm worried about that for Zack. I am. Like, I'm not saying this because I want to shit on Zack. I'm saying this because I'm worried about him, because he's not good when he makes his own stories. That's the problem. And I don't understand why those in his circle don't tell him this. I don't understand that. Like, you have these directors and these filmmakers out there. Like, take someone like Bull, I think is how you say his name, or Bull, or Bull, whatever his name is. He knows his lane. Like, he knows he's a B tier director. He knows his lane. He doesn't go out there thinking he can go above what he can do. But I'm sure he knows that because of the people around him, because they were willing to tell him, hey, this is what your lane is. This is what you're good at. Zack needs that. His wife, who is a movie producer before she was with him, should have the balls to sit there and say, hey, honey, look, here's the thing. You suck at this. You're not good at this, but here's the thing. You're good at this. Stay in your lane here. You've tried this thing X amount of times. When you try this thing, it's not that successful. So why don't we move you back into your lane where you're good, and let's keep going that direction so you see more success. That's how they need to do it. You know, like, I just don't understand why they keep beating a dead horse with him. And the problem is, you take a look at something like Rebel Moon. Not only was the writing bad, the story bad, but because of everything, that stuff being bad, the directing was bad, the cinematography was bad, the action scenes were bad. The things that are normally good for Zack Snyder were so bad in that movie as well, because he was wasting so much time on the other shit that he's not good at. And that's a problem. And again, I worry about, like, get in your lane, man. Get in your lane to what is good, and then give us a good thing. Give us another 300. Give us another Watchmen. Give us another Man of Steel. Like, give us the films, the things that you're good at, because you're in the lane that you should be in. All right, what do you guys have to say over here before I get out of here for the night? Let's see. Hope for Life says, I could see him definitely directing this, but yeah, I totally agree. He shouldn't be writing this. No offense to anybody here. I just feel like you shouldn't be writing this. Johnny Dome, my favorite Snyder film is Dawn of the Dead. His writing was never mind. It was God. Prime, I admit writing isn't Snyder's or Zack's best attribute. However, Sucker Punch was tight to me, and Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon uncut. Xander Wild, doesn't seem surprising that they attack you, Slav. That's all they do, really. Whine, right? Bullshit, attack others. Prime says, streaming metrics are totally different, ladies and gentlemen. Rebel Moon did well. Netflix's execution was horrible. Prime says, the signups is what they want. Yeah, but I mean, even with the signups, it's not like they're getting massive signups for Zack Snyder. And do you really think an LAPD action thriller is going to get massive signups for Netflix? That's the thing. I mean, at this point, Rebel Moon, if we go back to Rebel Moon, you take a look at Rebel Moon, nobody's talking about Rebel Moon. Let's just say they announce Rebel Moon 3, which we know is not going to happen. But let's just say they announce Rebel Moon 3. No one's going to be excited about it. There's not going to be big fanfare and excitement around it. They're not going to get signups for it. They're not, maybe like 4, 5, like honestly, like 400, 500 people. Like, they're not going to get many people signed up for it. This LAPD action thriller for Netflix, nobody's going to sign up specifically for it. Maybe somebody will come back to Netflix, somebody who was a Snyder fan who hasn't had Netflix for a while, who's had it before, and like, yeah, maybe I'll get it to watch it. But that's not going to be the only reason they get it. They're going to get it, maybe a week or two before, watch the newest, Anya Taylor-Joy movie, or the next, I don't know, Tom Hiddleston movie, Tom Hardy movie. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of actors, but it's not going to be exclusively for Zack Snyder. And that's what Netflix does. If you notice, they put out something new every single week. It's something every single week, because they know when people sign up, it's not just for that movie. They want people to sign up for what they're putting out week after week after week. Johnny Dome says, not letting him write is dumb. It's like projecting your own God. Just kidding. He can't write. Trayvon, all I got to say is Jeremy Johns, who gave Aquaman 2 and Joker 2, the not going to remember it, T- rating, calls Rebel Moon 2 dog crap. That's when you know it's bad. It was bad. Xander says, God, I'm so tired of goddamn Snyder fans, non-DC and DC Snyderverse cultists. They just make shit up. Hate, bully, threaten, attack, etc., etc. I'm so sick of them. Wow. Tell me how you really feel, Xander. Oh, Tito, Eric Cartman from South Park once said, Netflix is starving for movies and shows now. They will literally buy anything they're sold. Zach still at work makes sense all of a sudden. Yes. Hope for Life, at least Gunn surrounds himself with people who will give him constructive criticism on writing and everything in between. Trayvon says, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is awesome. Fight me. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is the weakest of the three, Trayvon. Xander Wild, I still want to be part of the DC fan base, but I'm inches away, shit centimeters away from leaving for good, all because of them. They grow and grow and grow as the days go on, and it's sickening. They don't really grow, man. You just hear them. They get louder. They don't grow. Hope for Life. What's Thursday's topic? I don't know yet, man. I don't know what Thursday's topic is yet. I still have some ideas from what I was going to do last week. I just don't. Oh, that's what I wanted. That's what I want. For a fact. Oh, let's see what else we got. We got Xander. I can only hold on to hope for so long until I slip from the grips, but I'm trying. Don't leave. Don't leave the fandom. It's okay. You got us here. Trayvon and Xander, you got me here. Johnny Dome, just making fun of his protecting your own God in a way quote. Hope for Life. Xander, if you need to take a break from fandom, I say do that. Focus on you. Always focus on you. For sure. For sure. Again, everyone, thank you so much for watching. This was a great time today. Got a little heated in the comments I saw there. Again, sorry, trying to give some memberships to some people to see some of the things. I wish there was a way to gift memberships. I know Just a Guy gifted memberships. Thank you so much for that. That was awesome of you. For sure. That was awesome. You should do that more often. Anybody can gift memberships. You know that? I don't know if you know that. You can all gift memberships. It's nice. It's very nice of you to do that. But there. Oh, I don't know who Matt is. Why is it giving it to random people? I was like, I'm gonna give one more away. And it gives it to Matt. Who's Matt? I don't know who Matt is. Anyway. All right, guys. It's been real. Thursday, we got the Watchtower. If you don't know what it is, Thursday is the Watchtower DC Talk, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So be there, be square, or don't be there at all. So you can come and hang out there. We talk all things DC. Again, I want to shout out to our current members that have been here for a while. Just a Guy, Goober, Lawrence Fury, Claudio, I can't say words. And then obviously I have a bunch of new members after today. So that's awesome. That's exciting. And yeah, I hope I see you all on Thursday. With all that said, guys, thank you all so much and have a good